guys, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa, and I'm back today to review Ready to Love. This is season 6, episode 10. So, at this particular point, all the contestants are at the mansion. It's not a mansion, it's kind of like a lake house or something of that sort. And first off, we see Dakiya come in, then we see Mr. Cliff come in. And I think it's very strategic how they let the contestants come in. They let them come in the way they do for a reason. Okay, so Cliff and Dakiya come in first. They sort of have a connection, wants to see if anything is stronger there. Then we see Joy come in. And Joy comes in almost like she already knows where she's gonna be sleeping. And the way she tells it to us, it's that she just so happens to be or want the same bed that Cliff wants. That's some BS. That's some complete BS. It seems as if they plan to sleep together before even heading to the lodge area. So I do not buy that for 1 second. But we know now that they are gonna be sleeping together in what looks like a somewhat of a master bedroom situation. And the thing to me that wasn't fair is that only some people got single huge beds and the rest of them just got bunk beds. And just based on the size of the beds, I felt as if how are grown tall men and women able to sleep comfortably in these bunk beds? That's ridiculous. So Dakiya noticed that of course Joy and Cliff are gonna be sleeping together, and she's not happy about it because if you guys have been following Dakiya and Eric was her strongest connection until that assault. And so now she kind of have to put all her eggs in Cliff's basket. You know, despite the show making it seem like, oh, there's a possibility with Paul. There is no possibility with Paul. Her only possibility was with Cliff. That's the only one she was attracted to. And now she's realizing that Cliff is not being completely transparent with her because, as I told you guys, we know that Cliff and Joy's connection is quite strong, and people are saying, oh, Joy's the one that is rushing and put all her eggs in one basket, whereas Cliff already has left it open and never stated it was Joy. Whatever, that's some BS. You know, at the end of the day, people need to recognize the difference between somebody keeping their options open just because that's the basis for a show, and somebody keeping their options open because they genuinely want to keep their options open. Cliff, throughout this entire episode, has showed us, viewers, through his actions, that he is only really interested in Joy. Yes, he's verbally said that he wants to explore things and keep his options open with Dakiya, but that's just been verbal. Have we really seen him interact with Dakiya throughout that entire stay? Have we seen him have deep conversation with her? In fact, she said herself that she coming in is thinking they're gonna talk, they're gonna work things out, they had planned to cuddle and all these things. And then when they get to the actual spot, he's just made himself completely focused on Joy. And in this case, we notice that actions are speaking louder than words. Okay, so Dakiya is not happy. Tina is supposedly having car trouble. That's a lie. Tina mentioned that she was trying to quit the show like midway because it was a mentally draining process for her, and she just did not really want to be there anymore. But the excuse was car trouble, sure. Throughout the episode, it seemed like a lot of men were banking on Tina making an appearance. People like Paul and people like Donovan really seem to be stuck on, oh, is Tina coming? Is Tina coming? Is Tina coming? Now, in this particular episode, one man is going home. Tori and Demetrius talk about, the whole dynamic with Sabrina and everything. And we know that ever since the kiss, Tori has not really been actively really pursuing Sabrina like that. And to me, it just seems like Tori was trying to fill his competition out. But Demetrius gave him very little to work with. Sabrina said she had concerns with Demetrius and Donovan. Sabrina and Donovan both are recently divorced. She has been divorced for 6 months. He has been divorced for 3 or 4 months. And she is questioning him about whether he's ready to date seriously. But as I said last episode, that same question must also be directed to Sabrina as well. You've also been recently divorced. Are you ready to be in a committed relationship? Because people feel like it's only men that are not ready to be in committed relationships. Women are sometimes, or they run away from it as well. So she has to ask herself that, and I hope she has. And she's just not on this show trying to just go through the motions and just go through the seasons with like nothing. She was the vibe I got from her was kind of like a bachelorette, trying to feel out her prospective suitors, and it's like, this is so one-sided. Why isn't Donovan asking her if she's ready, and she's calling him a red flag, and she's just as red as he is. Now Carmen is trying to work her charm with Paul. Paul is eating his salad. Paul just visually looked as if Carmen was irritating him. He didn't want to be bothered by her. He seemed like he was just tolerating her, and literally in his brain he's waiting for Tina. But as I said before, Tina is over this process, and I don't think she wants anybody there. So Dakiya is in for a rude awakening, is what I said. Can you just tell Dakiya, so this is what I was telling, this is my advice I was giving to Cliff. I said, can you just tell Dakiya you don't want her and cut the crap? She hanging on to a thread at this point, and it's true. It just seemed a little bit pathetic how he was making it seem like Dakiya had some type of chance with him, but whole time he knows that she doesn't. And people are getting on to Sabrina about, oh, Sabrina is treating Tori so badly. We're going to get into that later, because I'm really sick of that narrative. I'm really sick of Sabrina kind of being villainized. It's kind of annoying, and people making Tori feel like he's just this innocent person and he does nothing wrong and he's just being treated badly for no reason, and woe is Tori, woe is Tori. I'm just sick of that whole narrative at this point. But I just wish Cliff would just be more direct with Dakiya, because she's really holding on to him like that's her last chance. Because before she had options, so she was kind of not so desperate, but now she's coming across as very desperate and hanging on to his words. But she's seeing his actions, and she's coming to the conclusion that it is contradictory, and she's gonna have to decide what she's gonna do moving forward. So Joy is just as happy as can be, knowing her connection with Cliff is solid. And people again are trying to say, oh, it's Joy who has like put all her eggs in one basket, and Cliff has, and Cliff has as well. You guys need to just understand that Cliff is playing the game. When I say playing the game, I don't mean he's necessarily keeping his options open. I mean he's making it seem like he's keeping his options open for the show's sake. You have to understand these people are on a show as well. So she's outside talking to Donovan, asking him about his potential connections, and then Miss Carmen comes along and Donovan is rubbing on her leg, and I don't think he really likes Carmen very much. He seems very disinterested. Sabrina is where it's at for Donovan. May the best woman win, is what she says. And I'm happy that she did come to the conclusion, or she is very aware that there's really no competition. It depends on what the man wants. It's not like if you can kiss him the best, he'll pick you, or if you can cook for him the best, he'll pick you. That's not necessarily the case. At the end of the day, the core of any type of relationship is a connection. There needs to be a connection. You could be the most attractive, you could cook the best, whatever. If there's none of that connection there, then it's just not gonna work. And it depends on if he thinks that Carmen is a better connection, or if he thinks Sabrina is a better connection. Now we know that he also had an interest in Tina, but Tina is not coming. Okay, now he is going on the bunk bed calling Tina, talking about, oh, this is me, are you okay, whatever. Tina is not coming. Tina is not answering for a reason. She doesn't want to call while she's on like this public platform calling him, everybody hearing what she's saying, and for him to go back and relay what she said, so she's choosing to just not answer the phone. So dinner happens. Sabrina doesn't think Demetrius likes her, so she tells him that she told the producers to sit her next to him because she doesn't think that he likes her. And the reason why she doesn't feel that way is because she's the type of woman that's been pursued. That's how she sees people, or that's how she contests whether people are interested in her or not, is if they pursue her. And Demetrius has not pursued anyone, including her, even though he said that he likes her. So for her, she thinks as if she doesn't know if he really likes her. And he's like, oh, if she thinks that way, it makes me question our relationship, blah blah blah. When Demetrius talks, I don't listen. It's like I believe it's all fake. I believe it's phony, and I could care less what Demetrius has to say, you guys, to be honest with you, because I just don't think he's being real. Now, John and Cliff are upsetting my homegirl Dakiya with their matching onesies. And people, of course, think, oh, Joy was the one who came up with the idea. She may have came up with the idea. And I know Miss Misha was assessing this particular situation, and she was like, oh, well, if Dakiya wanted to have matching onesies too, she should have brought matching onesies. But I think she missed the point. The point is that it's not necessarily, oh, she could have brought matching onesies too, because even if she did bring matching onesies, or if she did have a onesie too, she would still be out of place. She would still be excluded. She would still not be a part of the situation, So even if she bought a onesie, she'd probably look worse if she did bring a onesie, because she would still be excluded. That's not what the point is. The point is that she thinks as if Joy and Cliff made a plan to sleep together in the same bed and to wear matching onesies. And why she noted that is because she's trying to see, or she's learning, and she's realizing that the connection that Cliff has with Joy is stronger than she ever imagined it was. And she's slowly coming to the conclusion that, hey, I really don't have a connection with this. I really don't have anything there with Cliff. I thought we had something, but it seems as if what he has with Joy just far outweighs what he has with me. And I think that's the point she was trying to make. Now, Sabrina wants Demetrius to step it up. She says she's tired of his nonchalantness. And that's the thing. The more and more you date somebody, the more you realize that, yeah, their physical appearance is attractive and everything like that. But what else are they bringing to the table? Are they pursuing me? Do we have a lot in common? And bear in mind that Demetrius says he wants a submissive woman. She's saying she's not a submissive woman. So to me, that in itself, I hope they went into deeper conversation about that, because that would make or break if they continue to pursue each other, to me. And the quicker they get that conversation done with, the clearer the decision will be as to whether they go with each other or not, because they seem like complete opposites. Besides them being attracted to each other, I don't see anything there besides that. Then we go to Sabrina and Tori, which is kind of in a very opposite situation than Demetrius and her relationship. To be honest, she's over him. Now, I made that conclusion before she even said anything. Before she friend zoned him, I said, there's nothing there. She's turned off by how he reacted to the kiss and how childish he was and how emotional he was. And I think she completely turned off all possible attraction towards him. And then she kind of friend zoned him. And that's something that I think she saw way before she finally said it to him, which I think is what may have annoyed people. Like, why she doesn't just tell him the truth? I feel like you guys keep forgetting that she's on a show. And they have to stretch it out and for particular amount of episodes. And maybe it was producers that was telling her, don't tell him yet. Nobody seems to want to acknowledge the possibility of that. Like, everything is not on Sabrina. Nobody is blaming Tori for still wanting to pursue her, knowing through actions that she wasn't interested in him. Okay, and now she verbalized to him, we can be friends. I hope you guys are happy. But according to what I'm seeing in the comment section, people are still mad. People are still mad, and I'm like over it at this point. So Tori mentions feeling left out. I mentioned that he should have just moved around, but I think with him is he locked in on Sabrina very early and did not shake his focus, and because of doing that, she was his only real option. And so now that he's friend zoned, he literally has nobody there to interact with. Everybody looks at him as a friend. Nobody sees any romantic connection with him at all. So if I were to guess, if I were to be a great guesser based on events, I would guess that Tori is going home next. At least with Paul, there's a possibility that he can build something with either Carmen or Dakiya. But with Tori, he has absolutely, we don't see any connection with anybody else. A lot of the women have friend zoned him as well. So he's gonna be going home next. So that's not a surprise. Tina is not coming at this point. They really had these people in these little beds, is what I keep saying, because the bed was so small. And Donovan is a huge guy. Anyways, Cliff and Joy Joy is asking about his possible connections with Dakiya, and she's trying to gauge, like, is he feeling me as much as I'm feeling him? Are we at the same place? And he's being vague, but as I said, he's just playing the game. He's just literally playing the game. He knows he's picking Joy. Dakiya is trying to keep it together, but she feels embarrassed because she sees how much or how strong or how much chemistry that Joy and Cliff have. And she's feeling left out because Cliff, like, told her all these dreams about what they would have done in the mansion and have not done anything. Instead, she's been bombarded with Joy and Cliff just flaunting their love for each other everywhere throughout the little lodge area. Paul has had a bumpy time, so he takes Dakiya aside, talks about his journey. She talks about her journey. They've both had a very bumpy situation. Tina did not show up for Paul or anybody else, and then we see that Dakiya is realizing that she really doesn't have any connection with Paul whatsoever, at least not one as strong as he has with Joy. Dakiya doesn't want him though, and that's very clear. It seems as if she has friend zoned him at this point, and that's just what it is. They're simply friends. She's not said that to him, but that's what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if Dakiya chooses to stay on, and then she and Paul both leave together. If that happens, it wouldn't be because they suddenly found love with each other. It would be because it's a show and they have to show some type of success story, you know. I said, how is Cliff torn when he's showing you what his answer is? He wants Joy. So there's no torn with Cliff. It's quite simple. He's just telling Dakiya things to kind of breadcrumb her and string her along. But she's seeing with her actual two eyes that's not what it is. Like, what he's saying and what he's doing are not the same things. So the quicker she comes to that conclusion and drop him entirely, the better it will be for her. Now we see next episode that Dakiya and Cliff are gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be very interesting to see if he finally just admits to the woman that, hey, I feel joy more. Just tell the lady the truth at this point. Right now, it's being seen as torturous at this point. And then we have who else? Do we have Sabrina and somebody else? Sabrina and Demetrius. I forgot what I saw in the previews. But anyways, you guys, that was my review. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you feel like Tori is gonna be the next man gone? I definitely do. Like, subscribe, and see you next time for another review from the Ranching Shop with me, Melissa. Bye.